Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Diasis, and we are here for the Doom review for the Nintendo Switch. Yes, we got a biggish game for once. So, we're going to get into it and talk about all the fascinating things about the game and how well it actually runs on the Switch console. Let's get into it. Who would have thought that Doom coming out in 2016 on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox, that it would actually come out on a Nintendo console the following year, looking at how complex it looked and all the great graphics and things like that, that it would actually arrive on the Nintendo Switch a year later. But that is what has happened for Doom as it arrived on the Nintendo Switch. And I had finally got myself a copy of it and decided to see how it all is. And the tone of the game and getting into it, I felt like I was in a Doom game. There's nothing really in the game that suggests this is a paler version of it. Yes, the graphics may not be as nice as the other versions, but the joy of playing it on handheld was something that I really enjoyed, and it obviously reminded me of Breath of the Wild and probably Skyrim more in terms of a big third-party game coming along to a Nintendo console and actually doing it really well. So when I got into it, I started beating up enemies and things like that, and using different weapons. The classic shotgun, the chainsaw is there, which is fantastic, and it's really really good. And this is obviously an R-rated game for a Nintendo game, so that's another funny little thing that I noticed to do. The cool things that I liked is the glory kills, melee hits and kicks and things like that, and ripping off arms and heads and things like that, which is fantastic. Blood everywhere, all that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. So you've got to really be on the ball and on the run here. It's not like a stealth sort of shooter. You've got to be really on the ball, running around, jumping, dodging and weaving, and making sure that you've got enough health to knock off your enemies. So all the weapons have upgrades and things like that, which is fantastic. So you can upgrade them with combat performances in each levels and things like that, which is pretty cool. And all that interesting stuff. Now, there is things called mods. Now, mods adds a secondary ability, explosion rounds, grenade launchers, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Some of the upgrades of the shotgun I was impressed by, and just gives you a bit more punch when things get quite hectic in the game, that I noticed for Doom, and something that I really felt like was necessary. Now, obviously, the storyline is pretty good. It's very nice. I felt it was an alright storyline. It was interesting, but it was a good fun and all that sort of thing. So the graphics itself is very nice. Obviously, it's not the best as it is. It does run at 720p in both docked or not, which is very, very nice. Some things get a little bit choppy at times. Frame rate can go a little bit difficult, but it still feels like a Doom game. And I still had a lot of fun playing it. And that was the cool thing about this sort of game. Now, going into the multiplayer, it has like a level system. Seen in other shooting games and things like that, you can get custom armor, playable demons, weapons, and things like that. All that sort of stuff. So I'm not too sure if multiplayer is going to be really massively successful. I don't think people have really been too brilliant about it, but I'm pretty well about it. Now, what I personally liked was having a traditional great shoot 'em up game on a Switch console. It works really well, plays really well, and it feels like a Doom game. It doesn't feel like it's a pale imitation. It's the real deal. It's the full game, which was something that I really enjoyed. The campaign itself is fantastic. The people who ported over Panic Button did a really good job of porting this game to the Switch. So, you know, maybe they should be porting some other nice games to come to the Switch. And it's definitely one of the best Nintendo shooters that you will play on a Nintendo console in quite a while. I would say since Splatoon and Metroid Prime series, I'm sort of going to go there. And I was really, really happy with it. I don't think you will have any problems buying this game. You won't regret it if you love Doom. So let's head back to the Ninja News desk and see what I gave it out of 10. So Doom on the Nintendo Switch was a fantastic game. I had fun beating up enemies and demons and creatures and all sorts of ugly things. I never felt like I was playing an imitation of the game. The weapons are fantastic, the campaign's great, multiplayer's alright, and I had a lot of fun on it. Now, some people will say, oh, you can get the game cheaper on the other consoles, but the portability factor of the Switch is, I think, worth enough to buy. It's probably the best shooter game on the console, apart from Splatoon 2. So if you want a fun shooter and a serious shooter, R-rated, those are probably the two best games to get, and that's why I have those two on my collection. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic port. I think it does a fantastic job, and I do highly recommend, if you're looking for a shooter and you're not really into Splatoon 2, you're not really into the cartoonishness or how different it is, I suggest you to get Doom instead, and you'll have a lot of fun. You'll have a lot of fun. So that is it for me, and I shall see you later on.